Oh. Oh, so the chapter's just called that, huh? Interesting. What's up, guys? That guy with a pencil here. In fact, I do mean to have it on me and keep it on me at all times. In fact, here we are to review chapter 328 of Peak Luck, which is known as God. This is interesting. I mean, like, huh? I mean, I'm not knocking it. I'm not saying this is a bad thing, but interesting. This is a whole chapter flat out called, but why though? But like, I don't know, like, especially because we know these two are like very much, you know. Well, I mean, like, my brain is saying like, why would the chapter be called that in the context of Blue Lock right now? I don't know, but I'm intrigued. And speaking of things, I am. You know, I gotta redraw, dog. It's Peak Luck is peak every week. I gotta redraw. But let's not waste any more time. I'm intrigued. The main reason I'm so intrigued is because these two are all about, like, logic, math, numbers, probabilities, like, ultimately, while the whole idea of godhood has been introduced in Blue Lock before, it's never been like, I feel like it's never been this overt. Like, obviously we have Kaiser being called God's chosen emperor. We have Loki, the god of speed. We have Nagi, who, like, early on, like, he got switched to the lazy genius title, but I'm pretty confident Nagi early on was, like, called the god of the field. Like we've definitely done this before. But notably, it's been with those, like, genius. Well, actually, no, technically Kaiser is a talented learner. But then again, at the same time, he's like the chosen emperor of. He wasn't like literally a deity. Meanwhile, we have Loki, a genius, and Nagi, a genius, literally being referred to as gods of some sort. So it's interesting that these two seeming talented learners would be talking about such a concept. Though admittedly, one of the most common beliefs for the existence of a higher power of sorts is the idea that everything works by numbers and probability. Like, if you just think about the probability of the universe just randomly happening, it makes no sense, and we're just talking about the universe, right? Like when you think about the probability of the universe existing when there was nothing, and then you think about all the perfect conditions that led to life, and then you think about all the perfect conditions that led to complex life, and you think of all the perfect conditions that led to complex life that could think and reflect on the universe, and only to break down the entire universe and see it's all like, it is very. It's very, like, designed. Or at least it seems like realistically, if we were one atom off, if I were to remove one atom from your body, well, not one your body, if I were to remove one proton or one electron from all of your atoms, everything would break. If things were slightly different, everything would break. Like, everything is so perfectly placed, strangely enough, that I do understand why many scientists, Loki, your boy included, like, they do believe in a sense of higher power, because it's like, why, how is it so designed? How does it make sense? Like, realistically, if everything was just based on random probability and chaos, like, things wouldn't make sense. Like, it just wouldn't, like, I don't know, complex life wouldn't be able to exist, because we are very, very fragile. Heck, the universal balance is very, very fragile. Look what happens when things get a little bit too big. Have you seen what gravity does to space? It's a but regardless, I'm intrigued. So let's not waste more time. Let's hop right into chapter 328. God. Interesting, though. I always forget how not only I forget two things. I forget how tall Ego is, because he's rarely on the pitch, but that man's a titan. He's 5'9". So Ego being like a whole head and nearly head and shoulders taller than him, Ego's got to be a smooth, like, what, 6'3", 6'4", maybe? Hold on, let me see. I bet they have to have revealed his, like, I just don't think about it that often because he's never on the pitch. Hold on, let me see. Ego Jinpachi. What are your stats, bro? I've always known you were tall and skinny. He's 6'2". That's way. Does that make sense? 5 inches? Is 5 inches? No way. That's a little perspective diff right there. Because Isagi's 5'9", right? Like, unless Ego grew taller or Isagi grew shorter, I'm pretty sure Isagi, he may be 5'7", though. Maybe he's 5'7"? Does that make sense, though? Still, I feel like that still doesn't make sense. Hold on. There we go. Isagi pops right up. Yoichi Isagi. How tall are you, brother? How tall are you? Yeah, he's 5'9". That is too big of a difference. Ego cannot be 6'2", because the difference between 5'9" and 6'2" is 5 inches. Like, where's, like, and your boy does have just a very large head, so, like, This is 5 inches on my face. Like, you can see my whole head is nearly a foot long in of itself. Ego is a whole head taller than Isagi, dog. That is way more than 5 inches. But let's see. Interesting. I do like, though, that these two are actually having a genuine conversation. Because now I think about it, outside, like, the little pre-training thing, which was all a letter, mind you, they didn't really have, like, a deep conversation at all outside of, like, the training that they were doing. Let's see. Hey, what do you want to talk about? Let's go. Well, maybe, I have an idea. Let's see. What do you want to talk about? At the end of the game, what was your intent with that last play? I mean, like, ball out? I mean, maybe ball out, I suppose? Let's see. I was trying to score my own goal. It felt like the obvious thing to do as a striker. But you know what? I like that. Once again, Isagi is a character who, if you look at Isagi at the beginning of the series and Isagi at the end of the series, and you even look at Isagi in the middle of the series, I think the unchecked, rampant greed that exists within Isagi's core currently is so purely distilled from his experiences in Blue Lock, right? Because ultimately, Isagi at the start of the series wouldn't have made that choice. Isagi in the middle of the series, arguably, I'm talking like U20 game Isagi, I don't think he would have made that choice either. He was in the right position for a lot, but like ultimately, Isagi was the beginning, middle, and he was the driver of that entire play. He made that play himself, for all intents. I know he used Bashar, but still, he was the one who even said, we need to make the play. Like, he wouldn't have done that. He would have been more so on the IQ path of like, all right, we won, we're cooking. But in this case, that was truly like, I want it. I'm going to get it. And that hunger that came from experience after experience after experience after experience, that's so good. Yeah, I love it. And I can't wait to see it backfire. I've seen the Kaneshiro interview where he's like, are you sure you're always going to be able to love Isagi? Yes. He's got to break Chihiri's leg, isn't he? Nah, but yes, I will always support Isagi. But it is interesting to see him get more and more and more and more greedy, more hungry, more desperate to become even stronger. Woo! I like it. Let's see. And it felt like the obvious thing to do as a striker. Is Ego-san angry? What? I'm not sure if he heard you, but you did say, your soccer isn't enough for me, Ego says. So like, maybe a little bit. He's like, I'm still the coach. I still pay your bill. Let's see. Sure. The last play after victory was assured. Was good timing to test your new idea. You know, no, I do like that. Ego's like, actually, like of all the that is a crazy, but it is true, right? In all the places to test something new, it is kind of when you're set well. Like notably, I've been playing a lot of rifles recently, and this is gonna sound strange, but now when I'm in quick play, instead of like locking in when I'm trying to do ranked, I like play characters I know I can play. But I've been playing like just new DPS, mostly DPS. I've been playing support and tank for so long, but I'm playing mostly DPS. I'm playing new tanks. I'm playing mag finally, mainly because I can wall people down. But like now that I'm in that position, it's like, okay, this doesn't necessarily matter all too much. Let me see what I can do here. Let me see what I can test here. Let me see what I can do that, and that allows me to practice. And notably, it's the same thing for Isagi here, right? Like the game was won. There's no way Nigeria was making a comeback in the last minute, and he wanted to test new tech. Why not test new tech on the world stage when everything was safe anyway? If he missed, he missed. The play didn't complete. Fine. It was still a 3-0. They still would have won handily. But it is. I do like that Eagles like that was the right time. I'm glad you didn't do it against England. Glad you didn't do it against France. I'm glad you didn't wait till the elimination stage. If you're gonna test new tech right there in the heat of the moment when everything is safe. It's a logical risk, right? Like I always say that as a person who's like, don't take too much risk in your life. If it's a logical risk, do it, right? If you drive anywhere, that's a logical risk. You know how crazy people are nowadays? You can be driving just fine, and someone could rear end you, someone could T-bone you, someone could fall out the sky. Okay, not fall out the sky. Well, someone could fall out the sky and absolutely violate it. It can be bad. But you take the logical risk of like, okay, I'm going to drive safe. I'm going to drive aware. I'm going to make sure I'm fully conscious and everything. I'm going to do that to make sure I lower the probability of things happening. And that's how you do it. You take that logical, calculated risk, right? That's how I feel about eating stuff, right? Like, ultimately, as long as it's not poisonous, I'll gamble. I don't care. Have I never had it before? No. The things I've eaten? Crocodiles? Crickets? Have I eaten rat? No, I've eaten mice and guinea pig. Quee. So, like, I've eaten a lot of weird stuff. Or at least weird stuff because of me, because I just don't typically eat it. But still, I do that. Heck, there's things that I think of just are normal now that I know if I hadn't taken the logical risk of trying it, I would have never done it. I eat octopus, squid. I'm talking like just straight, throw it in the toaster oven, heat it up. Baby octopus, I just eat it. Because that's a calculated risk. And I do like that Eagle's like, yeah, take calculated risk, that's fine. But let's see. It was good timing to test your new idea. Okay, but he still is critiquing a little bit. Let's see. But making too many of those risky moves will create unrest amongst your teammates who have no choice but to follow up. And discord will cause Blue Lock's formations and tactics to fall apart. That's interesting. That's actually interesting. But you don't know. No. It makes sense. I'm about to say, that feels a little contradictory to what Ego would have said in the past. But I think it does make sense, right? Because he says making too many, pushing your teammates too far, right? Because at the end of the day, despite how much we're all about egotism and do yourself, be yourself, all yourself in this manga, it is still true. This is a team sport. Like Isagi, I said it earlier, right? Oh, that was Isagi's basically his entire play. Not really. He used Bachara for the end of it, right? Like, that was a thing. He used Ren in order to bait the Nigerian players in a certain way. Like, he did have to use the team. So if he's doing that every single instant, every single play, every single game, he's going to start wearing on patience. It worked this time. It was fine. Stakes were low. Aiku was willing to evolve and capable of evolving. Rin wasn't satisfied. Like, he played well into his team to make sure he wouldn't agitate anybody. But allowing the greed to consume you at the wrong time or too many times is a little bit dangerous, right? Like there's calculated risk and then there's balling out a little bit too much. You never want to ball out too much. You want to ball out in balance. Trust me. Let's see. That approach is just a secondary weapon to use when you can. Don't prioritize. Well, here's the thing. I get what he means. Don't prioritize methods you can't reproduce. Technically, he can. Right? Like, I think I get what Ego means here in the sense of, like, essentially, what Isagi did was put Aiku in a rough position in order to make Aiku evolve and also to make Onazi evolve, so then he could steal tech off of Onazi. I think that's the situation he's referring to there. Because technically, Isagi's, like, grounded trap into a reverse spin direction like that, or into a volley, like that technically is replicable. Isagi can do that. That is now just new tech listing Isagi's kit. He has the 50-50, he has the ground trap, like he has things to set up now, right? That's just part of his bag. But I think what Ego's referring to here is the foundation for where he got that new tech, right? The idea of, all right, we just go and ball, and hopefully they'll evolve, and I'll get something out of it. Because I see what Ego's thinking about here, especially in comparison to some of the games they're going to be playing up next, specifically France, right? Baiting Loki into evolution, not the best kind of move. Telling Aiku, ball out, dog, figure it out. Against Loki, time and place. Don't do that. Against Charles, maybe don't do it. Like, there is a time and place for everything, and I think that's what Ego's talking about. When he says, don't prioritize methods you can't reproduce, forcing your enemy team to evolve or gambling on that technically is an unreplicable method because it's so reliant on other people you have minimal control over. Right, like you can gaslight anybody to do certain things that you want, but gaslighting doesn't always work. Trust me, I've been gaslighted. Let's see. Okay. Sorry. I get that. But, okay, but he's talking, that's my boy, okay. Hey, but, coach. Oh, darn, they went to the top, yo, why they aura farm right now? Why is the man? I know he has assistant, but like, there's no more to the backgrounds too. This man's crazy. Let me see. But coach, I feel like I'm about to find the theory that will defeat Noah and make me the world's best. I do like that though. Ultimately, every single one of these pokes, these points of Isagi, are all building to that theory, right? Because Noah essentially gave him the equation. He's like, you need to come up with something that's just better than me. You need to come up with that theory, that theorem that you can live out day by day that will guarantee your victory against me. Yeah, and I think, once again, it plays nicely into what Eel was just talking about. Methods you can't reproduce. He's looking, with every fiber of his being, to find a method that will get him to surpass the Noah. And that is something that would take experimentation. Like, ultimately, Isagi will never actually reach that point if he plays everything too safe. I think that's it all works well, because that's why Ego says, don't make too many of the risky moves, but you can still make risky moves. Don't push the team too far and fully break away from tactics, but at the same time, you don't have to stay fully locked to them, because it's that balance, right? Of course, the definition of insanity isn't actually doing the same thing over and over again expecting a different result, right? For anyone who works out consistently, you're going to be doing the same thing for a long time. I've been stuck. Well, stuck is strong. It's been getting easier, but I've been stuck at like 70 pounds for a minute now. Like 70 pound rows, 70 pound lat pull down, 70 pounds, all that. I mean, 70 on each side. I'm not doing like 35 on each side, but like 70 on each side. But before that, I was doing 60s over and over and over again, day after day after day after day after day. I was doing the same thing over and over and over again. I'm looping the same 3 days. Pull, push legs over and over and over again. And I am getting a different result. I am getting stronger. And soon enough, presumably either by like just at the end of this year or early next year, I'll be leveling up to 80. Because I'm doing the same thing over and over and over again. And that still can make you better. But you do need that spontaneous impetus, right? If I was sticking to the exact same thing, I'd still be moving 30s. I wouldn't be getting much. But I had that impetus. I took the risk. I went up and then up and then up. And I think that's what Isagi's doing. He's like, I'll dance. But the second that song changed a little bit, who knows? I may switch up the motion a little bit. And that's a good thing to do. We'll see. The theory that will defeat Noel Noah and make me the world's best. Huh? Ego's like, oh wait, what? I don't remember teaching you this, gang. And it's because Ego actually didn't. That technically was a Noel Noah original. What's it? That's why your soccer isn't enough for me anymore. But like, I do think this is where the greed gets a little too, like a little, Because technically this is a fantastic show of egoism, a fantastic show of individualism, right? You're not good enough for me, boss man. I'm better. I'm more goated than you. And thusly, I have more sauce. But I think there is a degree of like a little too much dip on your chip, my boy. A little too much dip on your chip. And funnily enough, you're looking at one of the highest Isagi investors out there. I've been invested in the MC since I started reading Blue Lock. But I think Isagi isn't complete enough to say that Ego Soccer isn't enough for him. And not even like the general team sense of like, well, he needs a team to play. It's Ego's team, and no one else is saying this. So obviously he still needs to work within the ecosystem. I'm talking about on the level where like, as much as I glaze Isagi, I'm not gonna sit here and say he's the best striker still. It's right. It's right. If you aren't even definitively the best within the system that is currently built around you, you can't say you're better than it. It isn't enough for you anymore. You're close. You're almost there. You're almost there. But you aren't there yet. And I think that, like, you almost get too far ahead of yourself. And don't get me wrong. Sometimes you do need to get a little bit too far ahead to realize that you are too far ahead in the first place and you gotta lock back in. But still, the idea that Isagi thinks he's truly free. That's interesting. That's interesting. If not free, above. And I still don't think that's the case. I think Isagi still has I say still kind of a long way to go. And I'm not just talking stat. I'm talking about just generally. Isagi does have levels he still needs to reach. Let's say, your soccer isn't enough for me anymore. Oh, wait, I had no idea we could get to the roof. Okay. I mean, actually, it's true. I mean, that's a cool feature, though. That's a cool feature that you can go all the way to the roof. Wait, I had no idea we could get up to the roof here. So high. What a view. We got a brief fraction or a brief sighting of in-game Isagi, and then we got out-of-game Isagi immediately again. Let's see. It's for emergency evacuations. Chill out. I love Ego, dog. I love Ego. It's what, like, am I saying we need a hidden inventory style Ego flashback? Not really. Especially, like, in the context of the current arc right now. We technically really don't. We already have Red Key to worry about. It's like a side story that we're going to be following. But at the same time, I would love a hidden inventory style flashback with Ego. I haven't played. Yeah, literally just take me back to when he was playing with Noel Noah. When he was Noel Noah's greatest, right? Like, just give me a hint. You don't have to give me everything. Give me a whiff, a taste. I need it. Just because I would love to see this man in his prime. I'd love to see it. We'll see. Chill out. If that's the case, then tell me about this theory that surpasses mine. And then, you know what, though? I like that. I like that Ego is very much like, okay, let's hear. Like, I think back to my own coach. Back when I was doing track. I specifically remember, I think I've definitely told this story before. I specifically remember we were running 3 hundos. I was in group 2, and there was group 1, and there was group 3. I'd been in group 3 for a bit, and then I got good enough for group 2. And I specifically remember after a while, it was just one random day, we were running 300s, and your boy, it was some silly time. It was like 40 like 3 or 44 or something. I was barely under the 45-second mark, which, would be very bad. Like, realistically, you want to be running well under that if you want to be actually fast. But I still remember, Coach then got on our cases. He got on, like, group 2 and group 3's cases, where he's like, y'all are so slow, you're all buns, you're all trash, y'all can't get under 45 seconds, everyone is well under 45 in group 1, and this, that, and the third. And I was like, hey, Coach, what you talking about, gang? I got under 45. And he looked at me, and he looked at me. And notably, he was in the middle of going for it. But I was a little bit insulted. I was like, you can't put me with them. What do you mean? I'm like, I'm better. I'm better. Like, and he was like, actually, you know what? You're all right. Pencil. Move to group 1. And I was like, and I never left group 1. And I actually was, like, I think it was second. It took me a while to get up to the top of group 1 in terms of, like, the top 4. But, like, it hit me. But the reason I say Eagle reminds me of him, of this moment, and why I say he's a good coach for that, is because he didn't entirely disregard me just because I was saying, oh, wait, no, I'm better than that. You're wrong in a statement. He was like, actually, since that is true, let me listen. Let me hear you out. Of course, I then had to run under 45 every single time. I nearly died that day. But regardless, it is a good thing where I'd say a mentor is willing to hear a mentee out. It's a balanced dynamic. Obviously, the mentor is the mentor. The coach is the coach. The leader is the leader. But I think a good leader, a good coach, a good mentor is willing to hear a student out. Especially when a student is undergoing development. When they are like, yeah, I feel like I know new ball. And the coach or the mentor or the teacher is like, yeah, go ahead. Tell me. Let's see. Tell me about this theory that surpasses mine. Huh? Well, it's not like I'm denying you, Ego-san. You know those compilations of super plays you sent me? But see, you say you're not denying him, but you are saying you're above him. His soccer isn't good enough. Like, that's like saying, I'm not rejecting you, I'm just saying no. That didn't happen to me, but I was there when it happened to somebody else, and I still remember. Luckily, I wasn't going to. Like, it was like in a whole group setting. We all burst out in the laughter when she said that. And she was like, "What? It's not the same thing." And we were like, "What do you mean it's not the same thing?" Oh, something was really there. But let's see. When I watched those, I realized that however much they stretched my imagination, there was a limit to what I could achieve on my own, no matter how hard I tried. But see, like, that's the thing. You're still bound by the system of Ego, because you aren't. And like, to be fair, like, Noel Noah was a person who needed pass, but like that individual dominance, I don't think Isagi has that yet. He's a fan. He works fantastically within soccer because it's a team sport, but at the same time, he doesn't have that level where I think he's free at. He still is so heavily bound to it that he needs people to step up with him and provide him things that he himself cannot reach. And that's why I still think he's bound by Ego system to a degree. In a way that, like, a Noel Noah technically isn't. A way that technically a Loki isn't. Kaiser is. Kaiser definitely is. But, like, and you may be like, well, look at Loki. He had Charles to, like, raise him up, and he's, like, trying to do that. Yeah, but Loki on his own is already like that. Right? Like, Noel Noah on his own is already like that. Sure, Noel Noah got a pass from Nest in the first game against Barca, but Noel Noah was already like that. Same thing with Loki. Loki was already like that without any Charles assistance. He brought Charles in to just elevate his game even more. Isagi, he doesn't really have that option where he could be like a solo monster himself. He still does need that extra. Oh, he's getting there. That's the thing. I'm not saying he's too far from, but he's definitely still climbing up. He can't necessarily say he's looking down yet. Let's like, how would I try? Plus, fighting against Loki, Lorenzo, and Kaiser, my glorious New 11 goats. Specifically, I mean, I actually do really like Loki, but I think this is actually generally my order for, like, Kaiser 1, Lorenzo 2, Loki at 3. I really do like Loki, though. Let's see. Lorenzo and Kaiser made me realize that even if I can win against them in matches or single plays, my abilities as an individual aren't even close to that. So like, yeah, he knows ball. He knows ball. He's like, yeah. And that's, it's, once again, soccer is a team sport. And I do think ultimately you are better off maximizing yourself as a utility piece, not utility piece, but like you are better maximizing yourself as a core of a team in a team sport, right? But still, that actually, like, it's I think it's like, it's better to have and not need than need not have. Technically, you don't need the extra sauce, but it's good if you have it. And Loki has that extra sauce. Lorenzo has that extra sauce. Kaiser, to a degree, does have that extra sauce, but I'd say, even still, he has a way to go. Let's see. If I tried to beat Noel Noah in terms of physical abilities, it would be impossible, even if I reincarnated 1,000,000 times. That's crazy. But I mean, like, legally, yeah. Because, like, it's funny. Genetics are just a hilarious thing. And I only say that because, like, I look at my own family. My grandfather was short. My other grandfather was relatively tall, but not the tallest. My grandmother wasn't short. I believe she was average height. And then my other grandmother is also, like, average height. But they had, like, a wide range of kids. Like, some of my uncles are really short. Like 5 foot short. And then some of my uncles are, like, 6'4". I'm talking both sides of it. Like, it is a broad range of heights. These things do happen. And, like, I'm also just a randomized thing. Bada bing, bada boom. I popped out. I'm like 6'2", 6'3". These things happen. But my grandfather was tiny. I'm talking like bone tiny. So was one of my grandmothers. And then my other grandfather and my other grandmother were just average size. I am heft incarnate. And like it is just a matter of genetics and the randomness of it, right? You can have 2 siblings that look nothing like each other. And I look at me and my own. We do not look alike. There are short instances in like his youth where he kind of looked like younger versions of me, but even then he's fully diverged and we're just genetically built differently. I'm much more beefy and tanky. He's much more lean naturally. He's trying to put on bulk, but like it is crazy how much like the random genetic lottery is. And some people do just win, but even then it's not impossible to win even with smaller or like technically quote unquote worse genetics because it comes with different perks and benefits like less load on the body, more efficiency, stuff like that. Let's see. But once I let that sink in and decide to move on, I started to see what I'm lacking. Interesting. All right, let's see, Isagi. How yo, Isagi, how big was she? The cheeks were this big and bodega. I'm kidding. Let's see. I think people are either geniuses or talented learners. I think you're wrong. Let's see. It's not about. Ego's like, what? It's not about which is better. Both types evolve through their mutual interactions. When a genius and a learner are properly balanced, if they keep competing with one another in the flow state, then the growth potential is unlimited. I wouldn't say unlimited. But in the context, I get what he means, unlimited. But I still do think Isagi's wrong. I think genius and talented learners is still a spectrum. It's like a Venn diagram. Like you can have certain levels of overlap, right? Like, there are obviously certain characters that are, like, more genius than they are talented learner. And there's also vice versa, where they're more talented learner than they are genius, right? I'd say Isagi is definitely majorly talented learner. But I will not let this slide. The boy was extremely good with spatial awareness from birth. Not everybody has that. Heck, the idea that talented learners have, like, a certain brain chemistry that allows them to use metavision at all is technically a genius-style thing, for all intents and purposes. Look at Rayo, the ultimate talented learner, but his biology allows him to be a fantastic copy thing, which is a genius level ability. Like, that's the thing. It's so spectrum-based. I'm shocked Isagi still so focused on the idea that people are either one or the other. It's a binary rather than, like, a spectrum. But once again, I think it's purposeful. Like, he still has a way to go. And because of that, I think this one is wrong. Let's see. Growth potential is unlimited, and either can eventually be the world's best. I mean, so far, the world's best is a genius. But then Chris Prince, who's technically the world's number 2, is a talented learner. And technically the best player in the world is also a talented learner, and it's nothing. So, like, I see what he means. And either can eventually become the world's best. So that's why I need to keep being the ultimate learner that Rin and Batra know that all the geniuses in Blue Lock want to surpass. Interesting that Otoya gets a spotlight here. I guess it makes sense. I love how all these are drawn here. But I get what he means, right? He's essentially trying to exploit the cycle of development. And that is a smart way to do it. That is a smart way to do it. And that explains what he's like. Essentially, he's telling Ego, I'm gonna keep balling. No matter what, I'm gonna keep balling out. I don't care how risky it is. And I get that. Because, like, that is the best way to keep going and going and going. So even if it's not replicable, it technically is replicable because the geniuses are going to ever consistently want to surpass and devour Isagi, and Isagi's going to keep adapting to them. It is a sort of Ouroboros. So I see what Isagi means. Let's see. So keep giving me new kinds of soccer. I'll show you what I can do to become the best in the world. I mean, that's essentially, I'm assuming he's like, give me new plays, give me new setups, do everything in order to just keep making me better. And once again, I love that greed, that hunger, that need, that desire. It is true to form. It is very human, right? Like, I think it feels weird to say, but I think it's truthful. I think if you look in your heart, you know this is true. All humans, maybe not all, a lot of humans, even the kindest person you know, they have some level of greed, right? But I think one of the most core aspects of humanity is that greed, that conscious want, that need for something more. And of course, it's something more can vary. There are some people who are greedy in the sense that they want money. There are some people who are greedy in the sense that they want connections. There are people who are greedy in the sense that they want certain particular things. But at the end of the day, it's all greed. It's all desire. And specifically, being willing to accept and work within and / alongside your desires is better than being controlled by them, I'd say. But it's a hard line to walk. I'm never a person who's like, you should completely not be greedy and be fully altruistic all that. Like, that's literally impossible most of the time, and also just isn't healthy in many cases. But you almost want to make your greed, make your desire work for you. You don't want it to just be there running in the background as like a subroutine. You want it to actively acknowledge that it's there, and then utilize it to push yourself more. If you feel like you got one more in you, go for that one more. Why not? Sure, it's a little greedy, sure, it's a little wrong, sure, it's a little devious, but that's how you do it. My current record, I think, is, I want to say 18, but I can't remember if it was actually 18. But like literally, I did today at the time of recording 16 pull-ups. Gangaruni. A year prior, I couldn't do a single one. But what I was doing literally every single day at the gym, I would dead hang. I would grab on and I would just hang for as long as I can to stretch my back out, to fix my spine. You know, I'm sitting down in front of screens a lot of the time for a lot of the day, whether I'm recording or doing work. So like, I need to make sure my posture is somewhat good and my spine is somewhat decompressed. But after a while, I was hanging, and then I got a little bit greedy. I was like, well, I could just hang around, but like, why not pull myself up? And I did. I just, and I did it again the day after that, and after that, and after that, and I did 2, and then I did 3, and then I did 4. Now I'm at 16, and then I want to hit 17, then I want to hit 18, then I want to hit 20, and I want to just keep going and going and going. And it is that greed that I want that. Why? Because I can. I think that but it is that acknowledgement of that allows me to develop and grow, and that's what Isagi has here. Let's see. Oh, all right, yeah. So it is Ego who brings up, hey, Yoichi. I do love how he always calls him his full name too. Hey, Yoichi Isagi. Do you think there's a god of soccer? Huh? You mean like Zico or Maradona? I'm assuming those are famous players. I think I've heard the name Zico. I have no context for it. Bullock, one of my favorite weekly manga. I have no context for football, even all these years later. Let's see. Or Maradona? No. I mean, oh yeah, interesting. And there it is, right? That's why I was questioning, like, who was gonna bring this up? Because Ego says what I was thinking earlier. No, I mean something unscientific and intangible. I get that. Like, it is like, I don't know. I know. Like if we're going pure, absolutely, like, science everything must have an explanation and base and stuff like that. Like, the universe is 13 billion years old. I think 13 billion years old. And, like, we know nothing of before that. Like, the Big Bang is still, like, the reason it's called Big Bang Theory is just because of the TV shows, because it's literally a theory. Like, we still don't actually know. And we definitely don't know what comes before the Big Bang, or, like, what'll happen at the death of the universe. We know the universe should die eventually, but we just have no idea what's going to do. We have no idea. We're no comics for any of that. But, it all seems to design. And what you do with that, you will, right? Like you don't have to. There are some people who are full scientists and, like, well, since I don't have an explanation, there's no, like, logical phenomenon I can study and replicate, then it's not real. But I don't know, man. As a person who loves the study of the stars, the study of our universe, I love science, even though I didn't go down that field. I love science. I don't know. There's something too specific about this world. It feels so strangely designed. Let's see, unscientific and intangible. I don't really follow. So he's like, what on earth are we talking about? Okay, why did you bring me to the roof for this? Let's see. Why is the logic? Yeah. So okay, so say like, there we go. I'm glad I picked up on that. It wasn't just me. It's even in universe. Let's see. Why is the logical ego-san talking about this? At the extremity of thought and effort, mind and body become one. It is true. I don't know if you're like anyone who's ever done anything like full. It doesn't matter if it's like a full physical sport or anything. When you have those moments, I mean, it is like flow. But when you have those moments when you are fully locked in, where there's nothing else but you and your objective in that moment, it is a point where it feels like any desync that exists doesn't matter. Or if it did exist, you can't even feel it anymore. In terms of physically, I always remember the times when I was at top speed, running with everything in my power with a race on the line, and I would literally I would feel my body, my fingertips, my extremities start to tingle, like legit, I could feel my body almost breaking down, but I didn't care. I was like, I'm going to run, I'm going to go as fast as I physically can, and even faster in some cases. Like I will do everything to be what I can be, and that is that case where like my mind and body were in perfect sync. Sometimes they fight. It's like, my mind is like, hey, I want to eat something. And my body's like, no, that will make my tummy hurt. But there are times also where it's like, nothing else matters. There's just this moment. Let's say Ego's talking about this. Luck, the environment, everything goes your way. And you feel guided towards your destiny by something outside yourself. Okay, now see, I've never gotten that far. Never gotten that far. Though, I mean, like, there are times where I'm like, man, that was a lot of coincidence that really worked out in my favor, but at the same time, it could just be coincidence. So, like, that's kind of how I chalk it up. And even then, those are, like, in moments of, like, a mental intensity, or, like, vibes-based stuff. Like, essentially communication. That's how I always feel, where I'm mostly going off, like, instinctual training and vibes, because I come from a Yapper family, right? When people ask me for, like, hey, Pencil, can you help me with interviews, or, like, give me tips on interviewing? I'm like, ball. Read them. How? You like? It's very weird for me to explain, because so many people have asked me for that, because I've never struggled in interviews, never struggled in public speaking, never struggled with any of that. But I literally just chalked it up to the environment I was raised in. I was raised in a boisterous, well-spoken, well-articulated home, with a big, large, well-spoken, well-articulated, well-defined family that, when it came to presenting the true me to other people, it's never been difficult. That's why I like the app so much. Because it's like, it's literally a part of me. So, that's why I say, it's hard for me to think that destiny by something outside yourself. Because I feel like, outside of, like, the guidance that's been instilled in me by, like, family and friends, I feel like there is almost nothing outside myself. Because I always think about this, but, like, you'll never know what someone else truly thinks of you. You'll truly never know what you even think about yourself. Your subconscious is a weird thing that you don't have conscious acknowledgement or control over most of the time. So it is an interesting thing to think that ego, of all people, is like something outside yourself, something intangible and unscientific. Let's see. And a sort of omnipotent divine possession. Yo, why does he look so cool? Oh, he's number 11. I see you. Let's see. When I was an active player, I encountered it. Okay. Interesting form it takes, too. This doesn't even, like... I mean, like, obviously it's meant to be an angel. Like, this typically isn't portrayed with, like, the white angel. Like, it's very, like, bestial. It almost reminds me more of, like, a harpy from Greek mythology. With the wings, the clawed feet, the half bird, half man, the sharp pointed ear. Like, this is an interesting design for a godly type entity. Let's see. I encountered it. For 7 minutes, I experienced something I never had before or since. That's actually a long time to feel like that. Like, it's weird to think about 7 minutes. Like, if you ever want to conceptualize how long a minute is, unless you're already physically goated, I know there are many buff watchers. But plank for 1 minute, plank for 2 minutes, plank for 3, 4, 5, 80s. Like, as a person who can consistently playing for like a minute and some change now. Man, it's no fun. Like, a minute never feels longer. A minute never feels longer than when you're actually doing something actively. So the fact that he was able to feel that for 7 minutes, like essentially an entire play, that's crazy. But he's never felt it again. That's interesting. You taste euphoria, you taste what could be heaven itself, and you can't reach it. It's gotta be maddening. Let's see. And only I can only explain my level of performance at the time as the workings of some invisible... I need to see that moment, Ego. I need the hidden inventory stuff flashback with Ego. Let's see. As workings of some invisible power. Is that different from the flow state? Yeah, see, that's what I would think of. That's what I would think. I'd be like, flow? Like those are the moments where I think of like my body's breaking down, everything's locked in. And for like a non-physical example of like entering the flow state, I still remember there are many times in my life where I'd be taking a test, and at first it just wouldn't make sense. Like, for some reason, all the information I'd learned wouldn't click, or for one reason or another, I'd look through the first page, and then I'd just flip. I'd go to the second page, I'd look through it, I'd maybe answer a thing or two here or there, and then, like, I'd either flip to the back or get to the third page, and something would just click. Something would just click and be like, oh, this explains that, and that explains this, and this is linked to that. And my brain would be on fire, just like making different connections. I'd be answering things extremely quickly, but like just going through whatever lead or ink, whatever I'm using at the time, and I just go and go and go and go and go, and then like whole time would pass, I'd be done. Those are those moments of like the intellectual flow state. Or for any of my video game players out there, you've had, I feel like everyone's had a moment at least once where for some reason you're just going insane. Like, so something just snaps, something inside of you, and it's like, okay, I see everything. I know where the enemy... Boom, boom, boom. Or for any of my fighting game players out there, you hit that combo, and then you immediately hit them with another, and then another, and then another, and they're not blocking it. Like, it's just... there's those moments where you are so locked in, and that's what I would think of as flow. Or sometimes flow mixed with the luck formula, right? Where the idea that sometimes you do just get lucky. You hit them with a 50-50, and it goes. And then it goes again, and then it goes again, and it goes again, and suddenly you've nearly perfected somebody, or perfected them. Let's see. Flow state or luck formula? Those such as concepts I developed to study and reproduce that experience. It all goes back to reproducibility. But he's never been able to, though. That's interesting. He was never able to reach that state again. But I suppose that's the thing, right? Once something is beyond you, it's really hard to do anything with that. Right? Like that's why I think like connection and like bonds with people is very, very important. Because as satisfied as you can be with yourself, and there are many times where I am just satisfied with me, chilling, whatever doing, there is something that is unreplicable about like just being with another human being and like doing something. But that's beyond you. It's something that's greater. And I think the tragedy of Ego is not only is it beyond him in the sense that we need to be like on the pitch in the middle of a game, but like it's something that is him yet not him. It's like the idea of that separate higher power guiding you along somewhere. You can't manifest that. You can't force that. It happens. It happens. No, let's see. Now answer me, Yoichi Isagi. Do you think there's a god of soccer? I mean, I don't know. But then again, let's see what Isagi says. If that invisible power is thanks to a god, then yeah, I think there is one. Okay. With the whole idea of like guiding destiny, I'm thinking like in the moment. But yeah, I suppose like, you could argue the god of Isagi's narrative is it's kind of true, sensei. But let's see. If that invisible power is thanks to a god, then yeah, I think there is one. When I came to Blue Lock, I met Bachiro right away. At the end of the U20 Japan match, the ball came right to me. Yeah, it is those mixes of like chance. You meet the right person at the right time, and suddenly that's it. Like, I still think of how insane it is. My longest friend that I've, like, consistently interacted with year over year over year. It was just random. We were just in the same class and sat next to each other. If that didn't happen, who knows who I'd be? Who knows who I'd be? Who knows who he'd be? It's so interesting how many moments in your life are just sheer coincidence, sheer chance. You met the right person at the right time and it went the right way. In life, it's just like that. Like it's weird to think about it, right? Like you could argue, just say, well, it's just luck, coincidences, probability. If you're a string theorist, everything's predetermined already. Free will doesn't exist. But like outside of being a string theorist or a determinist, your life is filled with so many just probabilities of things that never happened, or like could have never happened, and things would change, right? Like even this is gonna sound silly, but even from like a content creator perspective, I think of some of like the biggest content creators that like helped define my own content creation thing, have built like phrases and ideologies into me that now people just directly associate with me. I've heard it from some of y'all where like y'all use my phrase and have it on me and keep it on me. We always say big potatoes, but munching still, which tickles. But like that's the thing. It's weird how if you had never encountered me, or if I had never encountered those content creators, I'd be different. Certain parts of my phraseology would be different. Certain memories that I've made with people based on those things, they'd be different. They wouldn't exist. And it's all up to chance. I could have just not opened up YouTube that day. Or I could have clicked on a different video that day. Or I could have not latched on to that specific thing. It is all oddly random. It is interesting. It is interesting. I think there is more beauty into it being random. Like it's just like biology, bro. Like these things just happen. But still, it's interesting. It's interesting. And I do like that Isagi admits like it does feel complicated. It's right. And like everything has a writing form. And obviously Isagi's a written character than a narrative. But I also think it is very true to life. Let's say. There's also the last goal of the Neo Egotist. There also was the last goal of the Neo Egotist League. I feel like those moments, the god of soccer was telling me to set my sights on becoming the world's best. But see, at the same time, how do you define? Like I don't know, and it's probably just because I've never had it, or at least I have to think harder on it. I don't think I've ever had it. But when do you start thinking it's something beyond yourself and not just you? Like obviously, like everything within a system is technically something beyond yourself because you didn't make the system, right? Like even content creation, just in general. If you're making content, unless it's on your own platform with your own video camera and your own thing, like obviously it's built with other people. But like I'm talking like, when do you think it's something that isn't based on something that another man has made? When do you think it is something that is like beyond what would be considered human comprehension? When do you think it's that? And when do you think it's just you meeting all the right conditions through sheer coincidence? I don't know when I would think like, oh, this is me. This is something beyond me. It's complicated to think about. Let's see. I see. Maybe so. Hey, Iko-san, let me ask you something. Oh, okay, interesting. When you were active, what kind of player were you? Flashback, please give me a flash. Let's see. Just like you, I was a dreamer with a head full of ideas. But what happened? What happened, Shinpachi? Well, maybe, but I don't know. The way Ego is now, like, did he really give up because he could just never reach that feeling again? I don't know, man. Maybe once again, I don't know. I'm the kind of person where like, if there's something I have or something I could reach, something I've done, I want to get back there no matter what. I want to do something no matter what. Well, you know, sometimes you do give up on certain things. Once again, with anything that's based around somebody else, it is sometimes womp womp, keep it pushing kind of thing where you can't dive into the absurdity of it at any time because it's something beyond you. Let's say, I was a dreamer with a head full of ideas. Oh, interesting. Yeah. So it literally is that. He literally gave up. All right. But the god doesn't visit me anymore. I quit soccer when I realized that. But you know what though? That's interesting. He says that, but where is he now? He is a coach. He's not on the pitch, but he's guiding. Like essentially, where before he was essentially like a vessel. Now he's like a summoner, if anything. He's like, he wants to see if he can essentially create a living vessel for that deity in a way by creating the world's best. But even then, I do wonder, like, what does Noah feel about him? Or not him specifically as an ego, though that'd be cool to know too, other than just being a rival. But at the same time, what does Noah feel about the idea of a deity? How much of his story, how much of his experience, how much of his play is based on this something beyond him, something greater than him? And how much of it is just we ball because that ball? Sometimes it is a lot of we ball because of that ball. Let's see. I quit soccer when I realized that. I said too much. Okay, this chat is over. Let's go back. Interesting though. So Ego wanted to talk to him just to get a perspective on it. He got the perspective. He brings up the idea, and he's like, But I guess I understand why Ego's like, let's not go too deep into it because that is That is kind of terrifying, right? Like the idea that there is an experience, there is a phenomena that you could reach, that is something beyond you, it's something transcendent, it's something beautiful, but there is the possibility that you will never experience it again. It is hard to give that to somebody, especially someone like Isagi who's so deep in his development. Warning him like, hey, there may come a point where you are the greatest, the best that ever was, but you will never reach that point again. That is a dangerous path. Like, he goes like, chill on that, little bro. Maybe we shouldn't talk about that. Let's see. Hey, then please watch me, coach. Oh, okay. I'm gonna go to the bath. I'm kidding. I'm gonna go meet the god of soccer. By becoming the #1 in the world. I mean, anything to meet him, I suppose. Interesting. All right. Yo, this panel's do I just slap my face in the middle of this as a thumbnail? Hold on. Maybe I do. Never mind, it's not working. All right, I'll have to figure them out. But darn. All right, let's see. Yo, oh, the shooting star and everything. I see. Let's see. This egotist you birthed is gonna fulfill your dream. Oh, and that's the end of the chapter. Yeah. Go on and surpass me. Yoichi Isagi. A W chapter. I like that these two were honest with each other. Right? Like, ultimately, Isagi's not like the most dishonest character. He do be gaslighting, he do be gatekeeping, he do be girl bossing. But it is clear that he may have been hesitant to tell Ego to his face, like, yeah, you know, I think I need more from you, dog. I don't think your current soccer. I think you need to keep leveling. I think you need to keep. He didn't really say that. We didn't get to see too much time for him to say that, but it's clear that now that he said that, he's being honest. And I'm glad that Ego is also being honest. He admits to this phenomenon. He admits to this transcendence. He admits to this idea as he listens to Isai Yoichi, and then reveals the dangers of it. Does this thing have 3 legs? I just noticed it. Why does it have 3 legs? Hold on. I'm sorry. Is that an art mistake or is that why does it have 3 legs? I'm not even look at this. Look at this. That's not its arm. This is Ego's arm right here. Hold on. Y'all see this, right? It has one arm here, and one hand here. It's pushing Ego forward. Right? It's the 2 hands on his back. And then it has 3 legs. It almost feels like this leg is not supposed to be here. I don't know what happened. Like honestly though, funnily enough, maybe that's why I didn't notice it. Any of the legs work. Because like this leg, these 2 legs could work, these legs could work, this leg and this leg could work, this leg and this leg. So like it does work out, but still, now that I see it, it's hard to unsee. But you know what, glazing. I talked earlier about how this deity of sorts doesn't seem all that benevolent, or not drawn in like a mostly benevolent way, with like the sharp claws, the now pointed ears, the sharp hair, and now the multiple legs, and even just like the general bestial appearance, half beast, half man. It does almost feel like there's that sort of malignance. And you can almost tell that, I wouldn't say Ego's bitter, but you can tell that Ego doesn't necessarily like the idea that the god of soccer, if one were to exist, doesn't visit him anymore. He doesn't like that he was never really able to experience that euphoria ever again. And I like that he's being honest with Isagi in that. Sure, he said too much. Like, this is over, let's wrap it up. But the fact that he was able to be honest. Ego, is a person of great deceit, great manipulation, great gaslighting. So it's interesting and great to see him be honest and be real with Isagi and ultimately admit a vulnerability. And seeing these two characters be honest with each other and seeing that foster the desire to go further beyond, to meet this deity and fulfill the dreams. Essentially a full passing of legacy, essentially. That's great to see. A W chapter. But if you made it all the way to the end of this review, please do me a favor and leave what there is in the comment section down below. I want to thank you so much for watching. If you want to leave a like, share, comment, and subscribe. Make sure you hit that little Make sure you hit that little notification bell so you do not miss out on any videos that come to the channel. Also, we do have a picture down below where you support me for as low as $1 a month. You things like exclusive videos, early content, and more. Also, then become a member of the channel for as low as $3 a month to get the same perks and more. So those perks include the live reactions. Here this Tuesday I'm to review early ad-free access to literally all of my videos. Not only that, you get the ability to have access to all the videos on the second channel that got the reaction, which will be linked in the description down below. I dropped 12. I was going to say like 30, but realistically like 40 to 2 hour long reaction videos over there, literally every Saturday, 1 p.m. EST. But, of course, if you're already a patron member, you get early access to every single one of them. And on top of that, you get your name listed at the end of every single video. If you're a $3 member or higher, you get your name listed and read out loud at the end of every single video. And on top of that, if you want to drop 5 beans for a short video or 25 beans for a long video, you can go to the Ko-Fi in the description down below if you want to hit it for the one time and not for a membership kind of thing. And also remember, you can cancel membership at any time and get full access to, you can do it and then get full access to literally the entire multi-year catalog of exclusive content of previous live reactions, stuff like that. But with it being the case, now I want to thank you so much for watching. I hope you guys have a wonderful day. This is the Bag of the Pencil, writing off. I'd like to give a thank you to our sketch tier members: Eternal Flame, Red Wolf 4765, Astro, Glacier XZ, Zera, Brandon Payne, J2MA, Guillaume, Pura Ura, Enzo, Swift Strike, Super Flame Zero, Yuki Ally, Striker Man, Grim, Ollie, The Boy, Corey Watson, Damon Brown, Magic, CCC, Ramondo Furen, Dino, Heath Nelson, Hector Gonzalez, Black Sage, Tim Thomas, Kaving, Julian Perez, Akulare Babatunde, Union I, ORXN, Nevis97, Logan Guzman, Window Life, Dead Me, Orudir, Reyna, Christian Carter, Jagoda, Keon Stewart, Donovan McIntosh, Sino King, Hamza Izurisi, BNA DNA, Edwin Ingbinoba, Cyan, Straw, Cybersage 12, Athen Sheard, Antavius Mitchell, Plant Crone, Azo2404, Cray Panem, Zapro, and Weary Exile. Then, let me thank you to our line art tier patrons: A+A, Kevin Encarnacion, Sean, Dread Zoen, Norgazi Andasov, and Midnight Lord 21. Then I'd like to give a thank you to our Ink tier members: King RTX and Shrimpo the 4th Shrimp 06. Then I'd like to give a thank you to our digital art tier members: J Warrior and AZ Void. And leave a final thank you to our colored art tier patrons: Walking Munoz and Walking Munoz.